Welcome back to another Tiger Style podcast. Ready to get going, man. Beau, Coach Smith, Jace Roller, another freshman joining us this week. So ready to kick things off and dive right into it. Beau, what's going on?
Well, first of all, it's a big day around here.
Big day.
It is the 37th anniversary of your 12th birthday, so congratulations. Happy birthday.
Okay, I'll take that.
I figured it's around there, right?
Yeah, it's around there.
49, 48?
Yeah,
somewhere
exactly.
in that range.
Happy birthday, Coach Smith.
Well, thank you. Heard from a lot of the guys and family and all that, so all good.
Do you hear from a lot of former people, too, especially when probably Keenan tweets it out and says happy birthday to our fearless leader?
Yes, I do hear from a lot
That
of
is
people.
not on me. That is not on me.
That might be Jess.
That might be Jess.
So when my phone started to blow up this morning, I was happy.
Yeah, that's right. That's a good thing.
Yes.
Hey, we like that. Jace is with us, Jace Roller, Bixby High School in Oklahoma. First of all, welcome to the podcast, and how you liking Mizzou so far?
I like it a lot. It's definitely been different. First time away from home, but it's been good so far. I like it a lot.
Sometimes it's good to get away from home.
Yeah.
You know, get out, get a little independent, right?
Yep.
What's been the best thing so far, or maybe the hardest thing so far in training leading up to the season?
I'd say the best thing so far about just being here is just getting along with all the guys. Like, I'm friends with most everyone on the team, hang out with everyone, so it's been a good time over the summer and preseason leading up to season.
And the swimming and like taking off the sweatshirt, that was all fine? Or?
Yeah, that I did pretty good at the swim workout, but those were definitely mentally challenging for sure.
What was the hardest part of that day or that 2 days?
The hardest physically for me was like we did the dead bug ab warm up.
So the beginning,
the very
thing.
first thing was the hardest one for me.
And it broke you when you heard that was the warm-up.
Yeah, he was like, "Let's do the warm up," and it was pretty tough.
Well, let's give you a little background on Jace. Before Mizzou, he's number 56 ranked wrestler on Flow Wrestling Big Board and 8th at 138 pounds. Matt Scout's Big Board listed Jace number 63 overall and number 10 at 138 pounds. 3-time Oklahoma State champion, 4-time academic all-conference, and last but not least, beat his father, Shane Roller, legend Shane Roller. He beat his pen record at Bixby with 88 career falls.
How many did he have?
I think like 86. Maybe.
So you did it late in your senior year.
I did it first round of the state tournament senior year.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Dang.
Nice.
And you mentioned before we got on the podcast, he also lost another record to a teammate of yours, Gage Walker.
Yeah, the it was a single season win record.
And just knocking him off the board.
Yeah. At least he can claim he coached the guys
Yeah,
that
he
beat him.
coached all the guys that beat his
He
records.
did a pretty
at
good
least.
job.
So, no, Jace's father, Shane Roller, was a 3-time All-American for Oklahoma State, and he currently hosts still the World of Wrestling, Tulsa Nationals, and Reno Worlds, and a lot of big-time events. You probably wrestled in them. I've wrestled in them. And
Or you had to work them, too.
I've done both.
It's a family affair, right?
Yep.
You have to do a lot of setting up of mats.
Yeah, I
and
done a lot of mat setup over the years.
I noticed that at camp this summer, Beau, when we started rolling out mats. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah, right.
I said, "You've done this before, about 50 mats for the Tulsa Nationals."
Yep.
He's like, this is easy.
I think I was looking at the statistics earlier about those tournaments. It was like 2,500 participants and like 7,000 fans over those 2 days
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
at each event. So
Yeah,
it's
now
like
with-
outrageous
With
numbers.
the girls, it's crazy. I think they get like close, maybe over 3,000 at Reno and then 2,000 at the other two.
Wow.
Huge events. Well, I
Keeps you
definitely got to
busy.
ask you. I got to ask you, with all the strong roots in Oklahoma, right, and with your dad and everything, why did you choose Tiger Style?
Yeah, it was definitely. I had a long recruiting process, and a lot of Oklahoma schools and everywhere was recruiting. But I liked it here best. I liked the culture of like the Tiger Style, like that we had in high school. Our like Tiger Style was Bixby built, and we had like our core values and everything. So it's kind of the same, and it resembled kind of the same thing. And I liked just the culture of all the guys, how close they were here, and I liked all the coaches here.
Yeah, definitely. When things align with kind of what you're accustomed to, and
Plus, what are you studying? Are you going to do sport management?
Yeah, right now I'm sport management with a minor in business.
So you
Good
go
for
take
you.
over the Tulsa Nationals.
Yeah, maybe.
That's
maybe
part of the
someday.
plan, right?
Yeah, that'd be.
Family business, so it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
How has the transition to college classes been?
I was taking some like dual credit enrollment in high school, which was
Good for
college
you.
classes. So it's these classes. I had some hard ones in high school, so some of these classes are actually easier than the ones I was taking
I like
a
that.
couple years ago. So it's been an easy transition so far. I'm doing pretty well in all my classes.
So you helping out teammates then when?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm pretty good at econ, and everyone kind of struggles with it. So I've been trying to help a little bit.
That's what it's all about.
That's awesome.
Coach Smith, what did you see early on with Jace and bringing him? What was the fit for Tiger Style?
Well, at first I thought, he's probably going to end up going to Okie State. And I talked with his coach, and his high school coach was telling me, hey, I'm telling you he's open. So we really started to push, and we would just have long conversations on the phone, talking about things. And then when they got to visit, Mom and Dad came up, and he did, and he actually – He's a serious student, and he wanted business, but I said we also have a business degree in sport management, so that fit too. And then just with hitting it off with the culture and our meeting our guys, I just think with him also, with the way he scrambles, and his dad used to pin a few of our guys, but so I'm figuring let's get him on our side. So I've had a coach against his dad back in the day, and just watching him wrestle, he's not afraid to try things and neck wrenches and some fun stuff. And if you remember, Matt Manley had a lot of similar, very similar. And so we're excited. He's going to be an exciting wrestler for fans to watch, and we like that.
This episode of Mizzou Storytellers on the Inside Mizzou Athletics podcast is brought to you by Sophia's and Addison's Restaurants. Sophia's and Addison's Restaurants are great local spots to visit before or after all Mizzou home games. Addison's has 2 locations in Southwest and downtown Columbia and features over 20 beers on tap, including local brewers and, of course, their famous Nachos Bianco. So remember, before or after the game, stop by Addison's.
You mentioned his visit once he came up here, and I remember his dad telling a story, and we got behind us here the indoor track, and his dad said, wait a minute. I remember this place. I remember that this looks familiar. And your dad talked about wrestling on the track, having the Mizzou home duel on the track. And you've told us stories about this, and we didn't believe you.
Nobody on staff would ever believe me, so I grabbed Shane, and I'm like, you got to tell him. And he's like, yeah. And then he saw the stairwell, and he's like, yeah, I think Coach Smith, the other John Smith, ran us up those stairs because we didn't win by enough that day or something. So
he was having flashbacks from the indoor track.
That's back when there was only basketball here too. Like there was no Mizzou arena.
There was no Mizzou arena, so all the events, and we would have events out here if we couldn't get in the arena.
I remember those days.
So
and you'd set up bleachers.
We had the bleachers around. The early days, I knew every fan by first name. Then we grew into the final year, which was 2005 or whatever it was, 4 or 5 before we moved into the arena, and we had a duel with Oklahoma, and it was packed. There were people sitting on the floor, seats. I think Coach Pinkel brought the whole football team out. It was really exciting. There was over a couple thousand people there jammed around these bleachers, and we beat Oklahoma that day. But it was time to move into the arena and start filling that up.
And it was so nice when this became, yours, gymnastics, volleyball only.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, there was a lot more room. I mean, compared to sharing with so many other people. And the 4th floor, which is now yours, was the auxiliary gym where they practice basketball. So all of a sudden you had to feel like, holy smokes, look at all this stuff we have.
Yeah, and I was speaking to the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, SAC, last night, and they came to the wrestling room for their meeting, and I had to remind them, because I have to remind myself that they're all 19, 20, 21, 22, so they probably weren't even they weren't
Yeah.
even alive
Right.
when Coach Stewart was up there coaching, and he used to come up the elevator, and he'd always be coming around the corner, and they would have basketball practice right next to the wrestling room and everybody was in here.
Yeah.
I mean, all the academic wing was
Yeah.
this floor, the third floor was academic, and all the administrators, all the offices, all the coaches, and we were upstairs. And I think I shared the offices with swimming. So swimming was over here. So it was a different time period, the old Hearns, but
It's where everything was happening back in the day.
but
And
I
here-
knew Jace was going to be a Missouri Tiger when we found out his middle name.
Yeah, what is your middle name? Why don't you share it with everybody?
It's Tiger. My,
When we heard that, we're like, no, this is a done deal. You can't be a cowboy with the middle name of Tiger. So I think that was the ceiling of it right there, that Jace the Tiger Roller.
We like
Just
that.
think when somebody gets to announce them.
That's right.
Oh man, that would be great. I can just imagine Darren going crazy
Yeah.
on the microphone. Place is gonna be popping.
How's it been in the room so far?
it's been good. It's been fun getting to wrestle all these guys. At high school, it was like I had a couple practice partners that were good, and then now everyone you go with is
Sure.
challenging and giving you good looks and different feels. Like I could go a long time in the practice room at high school without getting taken down, but in here it's like if I'm having a bad day, I'm gonna get whooped that day. So I better be on my game every day.
What have you seen has kind of been the biggest challenge or biggest difference from the high school to, obviously you get riding time and things like that, and point scoring is a little bit different, but what have you seen has been the biggest challenge that you've had to adjust to?
Yeah, I would say probably the same for most freshmen, but me probably so far is just working on my bottom, just getting off bottom. So I'm sure most freshmen say the same thing, but
Yeah.
that's what I would say.
Yeah,
You
this
see that
level.
as a coach, don't you?
Oh, yeah. It's just when you're in high school, you're taking people down and cutting them when you're as dominant as, and this guy would go out and pin everybody.
Sure.
So, I mean, he had, 88 pins, so he wasn't on the mat that long, so he didn't probably ever get, some matches he probably wasn't on bottom. So then all of a sudden they get in our practice room, and college guys ride hard, and, that's an identity of our program, that we want to ride people and grind on people and turn people. So when he gets in the room, he hasn't had the time like he's had with the people that are that level. So
Yeah.
it's just an adjustment time, and it takes a couple months, and then all of a sudden they just start to adapt to it and getting better at it and fighting harder and knowing the position that people are trying to get to. Stop letting people getting their wrist and things like that, and they adapt and they get better. It always happens.
It seems to me, too, that in post-match interviews with you, you say we either need to be tougher on top or we need to get out from underneath. I mean, that can be the difference in a match.
It is. That's what I love about college wrestling. The mat wrestling is really, everybody always focuses on the feet, but when you really look at the NCAAs and matches and how they're won and lost, a lot of it isn't mat wrestling, that riding time point,
Yeah.
or taking a guy down with 30 seconds to go in a period and you ride him out and don't let him get out, and that point's a big difference. And so that's one of the reasons why we want it to be our identity, that we're tough on top.
Can't help but think I'm looking at this 88 career falls, and we've got a big weekend coming up here soon with the Hall of Fame. That 88 career falls, I think that's somewhere real close to where Ben Askren was in his college career.
Yeah, I think
Right.
he had 91 or something. It was
91 career
insane.
falls. So Jace,
There's the number.
keep that number in mind, all right?
Yep.
So, well, before we let you get out of here, we want to give you an opportunity to give some shout outs. Anybody you want to say thank you to or recognize?
Yeah, I think my coaches throughout youth definitely got me here. I mean, Coach Blake was my high school coach. He came from Stanford. He did a really good job getting me ready for college, and then my dad coached me all the way through youth, and it was really really good getting to work with guys that had been at this level before. So I've been training a lot of the same techniques. Some guys don't have that, so that was really good. And then just all my training partners now here and back home are all really tough and pushed me to get to where I am. So
It's awesome. Definitely got to recognize those people that have helped you get to where you are. So we appreciate you, man. We appreciate you stopping in and spending some time with us. Coach Smith, we're going to keep bugging you, but, man, Jace, you can get out of here, go to class, go train, go do something. So we appreciate you stopping in.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Jace.
Thanks, Jace.
Tiger fans, say aloha to Hawaiian Bros, where the island-inspired flavors are positively delicious. You'll love favorites like huli huli chicken, luau pig, and the delectable Dole soft serve. Hawaiian Bros, just south of campus on Grindstone Parkway, or order at hawaiianbros.com.
We had some exciting news this past week. The 2027 NCAA championships announced, and for the 10th time, St. Louis will be hosting, and so it's in your backyard again
Yes.
in 2027. That's
And
huge.
The 10th time that Mizzou will host alongside the
Right.
Sports Commission in the city of St. Louis. So really exciting. I got to go to the press conference over in St. Louis. I spoke to the Tiger Club on whatever day was it? Tuesday. Tuesday.
yeah. Last
Spent
Tuesday.
and I spent the night with the knowledge that there's a chance we could get it. So I just had to spend
wow.
the night. And so in the morning at 11, I was waiting for the call from the Sports Commission, and it was 11:10, 11:15. Kind of texted over to them, and then they finally texted me back, "We got it." So it was exciting. I mean, St. Louis has become the city of wrestling championships. When you
Yeah.
think of 10 of them in the last 27, 25 years, I think it would be, because it was 2000. So it'll be 10 and 27 years, I guess it would be then. That's pretty amazing.
That's awesome.
And they do such an exceptional job. Every year we would run it. I remember back in the days, Chris Roseman was running the Sports Commission, and that part of it with the wrestling, and he would just say, "What can we do better? What can we do
Yeah.
better?" And they would get the next one, host the next one, and they'd make it better. And I think they were the first to do the grocery cards for the athletes and things
Really?
like that through Schnucks, who helped out with it. And then it was just other things, just making it better with better warm-up areas. And it made future NCAA sites step it up because of what, some of the ideas coming out of St. Louis. So excited. It's coming back. And I know the city will do an outstanding job. They have the people that have volunteered, the amount of volunteers it takes to run that event. And when you do it at a city for the first time, you see struggles because they don't know what to expect. When
Right.
it comes to St. Louis, it's going to be, it's like when you go back to Omaha. The city knows it's coming. Baseball's coming. When it comes
Yep.
to St. Louis, it's wrestling. They know the fans are going to be there. They're going to be out late after the venue. And when the venue gets out, and keep the restaurants open late and be ready for in-between sessions. The city's prepared, and it's just well run.
And not to toot our own horn, but whether it's in Kansas City or St. Louis, it's easy for everybody in the country to get to. It's kind of like Columbia serving for the high school state championships.
Yeah.
Everybody can come. It's kind of the same way St. Louis, Kansas City.
Yeah, I mean, both of them, but when you think of the top two conferences, the Big 12 and the Big 10,
Big 10,
you're
sure.
right there in the center. And so I'm sure with the crowd bases of those conferences, they're excited to always come here.
I got to think that with hosting for the 10th time, that's got to be up there among, the most for any city.
I think it is the most, so I could be wrong because I don't know all the years,
Yeah.
like the 30s, 40s, and
Sure.
50s who was hosting, but as far as I know, 10 is a lot.
Yeah.
I know when I was a younger coach, Iowa City used to host a few, and they'd had them on campuses, but now they've
Right.
taken them off campus. And that's one of the things with St. Louis. The building holds about 20,000 fans. It gets a little bit smaller when they have to do the early rounds of wrestling, but then at the finals, they can put close to 20,000 in there, and it's an amazing. They just redid the facility a couple of years ago, so it's been upgraded. And you just see the growth in the city, too. It was neat because the mayor was there, the GM of the Blues.
Oh, nice.
Every sports team in the city was there. And there was probably 40 to 50 people. And the city really embraces these things, these events like this, because they know it brings the world to their city, and
Yeah.
they get to enjoy it.
How does that really change things for you, or does it change things for you as the host school?
It doesn't. I don't add on more to my plate except for people asking me for the front row seats.
Yeah, right.
I get that. Hey, can you get me good tickets? And I can't get you tickets. I might be able to sell you a couple more because we get more because we're a host team. But other than that, It's but it is good for the growth of the sport. When I look back in 2000 when we hosted it the first time, just bringing such a huge event like that, and the youth kids, the volunteer people that got to experience the biggest event they'll ever see in wrestling. It's still the largest, when you go to the NCAA, the largest event I've ever witnessed. I've been to Olympic Games and I've been to these, and this is the biggest, wrestling event with crowd that I've ever seen, for 3 days like that, packing it in, the excitement, the intensity. Right. I mean, President Choi and Marcy, our associate AD, came last year, and they were first time there, and they were just overwhelmed by it. They're like, we never knew, and we're coming next year to Philly, and because they didn't realize it was that big of an event and the excitement of it. So I think when you you expose that to your state and your media, your fans, it just grows it. And the
Absolutely.
whole year, the media covers that. Oh, this, wrestling's coming.
Coming here.
We got to
right.
cover some more wrestling, and so it brings more attention to your sport.
So this year's Philly, did they name 26 too?
Yeah, that's Cleveland. That was named already. So
Cleveland,
it goes
and then
Philly,
St. Louis.
Cleveland, then St. Louis. Then it's going to go for the first time it was supposed to be the year it was canceled, to Minneapolis, where the Vikings play. And I was on the committee at that time, and we put like tarps out there for mats. It's an interesting view. It'll be, I know we had sold 34 or 35,000 all sessions passes.
Wow.
Which is amazing when you think about it. It was 2019 or whatever year that was. And so then it got canceled. So the two cities that got it were the two cities affected by COVID, because we had it the next year and there was a limited crowd, I think 20%. So it was really great to see that Anthony Holman and the NCAA staff recognized that, and two cities that worked hard to promote those, and one got canceled a week before and the other could only have 20% of the people here. So
And that's the first time, the one in Minneapolis, that it will be in a football stadium. Is that right?
first time, yes.
Yeah. Wow.
So it'll be interesting.
Okay.
It'll grow the sport in a different way. I don't know if it'll be an every year thing, but we'll see.
And that's
The fans are reacting. You hear some of the negative comments, and I'm sure there were negative comments when they moved college basketball.
That's what I was about to say.
From
Yep.
a 19, 20,000 seat arena to a football stadium, and
Like the Superdome. That's
yeah.
right. That's absolutely
And now they
right.
do that every year, and they put 50, 60,000 in for a basketball game, and the view and the eyesight from way up there is probably not the best, but they're selling them out, and that's a big deal, and it's an awesome event, and that's what I'm glad that the committee has just that mentality to grow the sport, to try it. You got to try things outside the box, and this is definitely it.
This episode of Mizzou Storytellers on the Inside Mizzou Athletics podcast is brought to you by Shelter Insurance. Ranked number 1 in customer satisfaction for auto insurance in the Central Region by J.D. Power 5 out of the last 6 years. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
If they weren't selling it out, they wouldn't be doing it. So that's why you try it.
Yeah.
Absolutely right.
Well, let's dive into some of the things that are coming up. I know we got a busy October and busy November with season starting right around the corner. Couple upcoming events for us. Next weekend, we got homecoming, big weekend for Mizzou, and that's actually our last Tiger Style tailgate. The game time hasn't been announced, so we haven't announced the
I thought homecoming was at 11.
11 or 11:45 or so. Steve,
Yeah, we're
do
waiting.
You know?
We're waiting, I think, until.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it'll be an early game.
It's before
Early
noon.
game. So it's a
Yeah.
breakfast tailgate.
Yeah.
Breakfast tailgate. So that's all right. A little
A
different.
little breakfast tailgate.
So and then that next day, we've got those Hall of Fames. We've got the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame with Ben Askren, and then we've got the National Wrestling Hall of Fame with Zach Elam and Coach Don Bradley. So a big weekend that weekend. Then season starts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Black and gold on that next Friday, and so
Yeah, that'll be exciting. Just to finally get out into the arena and put the mat down,
Yep.
have some referees out there and wrestle some matches against each other. But still, it's just giving our guys a taste of it, because the next weekend?
that next weekend we're on the road to Northern Colorado with a big duel. I
Yeah.
mean, we know that's a
A
big
very competitive duel. They got a returning national champ in the Alvarez kid and
Yeah.
Alirez, and then they got a couple other kids, the Pulliam kid, I think it is, and 33 Serrano. They have some tough guys. So they're going to bring a really tough lineup and probably a excited crowd that Mizzou's
I'm
coming
sure.
into northern Colorado. So
Big time early duel.
the neat thing I heard from one of my former managers, and he said he's gotten a hold of the Alumni Association, and they're buying tickets for anybody
good.
that's a Mizzou grad. And so if you're a Mizzou grad out there in Colorado, contact the Alumni Association from out there in that area. They're going to be posting it and getting people to come to the duel for Mizzou.
That's awesome. And then that next weekend, come back and we host the Tiger Style Invite, which super excited about this year. Tickets are on sale. The price goes up at the end of this month, so make sure that you get those. Right now, if you have groups of 10 or more, you can get discounted half-price tickets. So make sure you guys are getting those. We've added Purdue to the schedule for that tournament. They replaced Lindenwood, who was in there last year. So that Tiger Style Invite on November 9th, that's a Saturday. So make sure that you're there. It starts at 10 o'clock
It's at Staley High School.
at Staley High School.
And there's going to be some competitive weights when you
Big
look
time.
at Purdue coming in. Maryland has a lot of that talent coming back, and Cal Poly has some really quality kids.
Just off of first glance, first look, there's 30-plus ranked wrestlers
Wow.
That's pretty impressive with it. 6 teams there.
with 6 teams. So
So
pretty impressive.
there'll be some good matchups in all the rounds, really.
I want to ask you, before we get out of here, we're about to announce the save the date for a special event that we started last year with your wife, Denise. Okay, we've got the Women of Tiger Style Girls Night Out, December 11th. That's a Wednesday. And that save the date will be going out. Tickets will be out on sale soon. But what is that event?
It's all women, and then Coach Smith teaches them some wrestling. So we show some video. I have some of the guys come in. We lay out a mat. We have a good time explaining wrestling. It's really a girls' night out and social. So by the time I showed up, they were very social. And, it was interesting that we had a question thing, and they asked some interesting questions about the sport. But it was a great time. It sold out last year, so we're going to try to create some more space up there in the Columns Club and get more of the women in there, because I run into people all the time and said, let me know when that happens. I missed it last year. So
After that question box, what did Keegan say to you? He was
I got to get out of here. Yeah, Keegan O'Toole and I think it was Carter McAllister were in their singlet up there, and it was about 120 women, so it was interesting.
You should have known based off of the first meeting with the wives.
Yeah, I got in trouble with the wives because they had a meeting and it was at my house. And I like to get things done. I like to be organized, just like you. I had the sheet, what we needed to get done, and my wife has food out. They come in, they're talking, and then she's giving tours of the house. And I'm like, whoa, let's sit down here. And I had to yell at them, sit them down. I don't think I was well liked after that, but I'm like, I got things to do. This isn't a social, the social hour is the event, not this planning. So we got some stuff
Have you
done.
had your guys' first meeting yet?
Well, we have not. I probably won't be invited this year.
So, no, we're definitely planning on that to sell out quick, really fast. Last year, it sold out, I want to say, within a few days.
Yeah.
So make sure that when those tickets are on sale, you get those. Everybody in the probably the state of Missouri knows Denise Smith, so
Yeah.
she's well connected, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I was there, and my cheeks hurt after leaving it. I
It
was
was
laughing
a
the
fun
whole
evening, so we make it a lot of fun and just come out and meet and get to understand the sport. And it's a couple weeks away from our first duel, so it'll.
What was the reason? I meant to ask you this. What was the reason that you actually started this? People kept asking.
Yeah, all the time. My wife would be out, and she'd be like, "You should come to the match." And people were like, "I just don't understand." And her friends, or walking groups, or Bible study groups, all her friends that she would teach with, and just don't understand the sport. So Denise would drive me crazy. You got to do a teaching segment, And in the past, Gary Pinkel used to run like an X's and O, and it may have
Yeah, that's
even
right.
started back with Larry Smith. and his wife may have done an X's and O's, and then Pinkle did it, and Barry Odom did it, and so I'm like, all right, we can do an X's and O of wrestling, and we'll do something. And so we have some video, we have some wrestlers that come in, and it's just a lot of getting to understand the sport and a little bit about it, and a lot of fun.
So women, if you want to learn a little bit about wrestling, Wrestling 101, and get to hang out with Coach Smith's wife and the other Tiger Style wives, be there December 11th. So a lot of things coming up, October, November, December. It's rolling, Beau. We're going. So.
Absolutely. And don't forget the schedule's out. Get your tickets for those home duels. It'll be a really heavy January, and we'll be at the Hearns a lot.
Yes.
Top 10 last year in attendance. We're beating it. Okay, Coach Smith, he's already challenged you guys last podcast, and he's challenging you guys again. I'm putting words in your mouth, but we're challenging our fans. So make sure that you guys get your tickets and you're there. So, Coach Smith, anything else?
Nope. I think we'll talk about it on other things, just about the special events we're going to have at the duels. So we'll talk about that next week. So look for that next time.
Definitely. Beau?
Just happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thanks, guys.
Coach Smith. Should we sing to him?
No.
We want people to watch.
Yeah, true. And especially with my voice right now, not be good. So, well, as always, Tiger Style, stay ready.